Hey guys, King of Charms here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my best ABB team for the Holiday Cup Ultra League Edition. I am back from vacation. I am sorry I haven't really been consistent in creating content because when I was over at Vegas, I was out a lot. So well, it's not that I was out a lot, it's just I didn't have my whole setup here, and it would be annoying to make content with my laptop over there. So I just would wait until I got back, and I'm really refreshed and motivated to come back and create more content and etc. So it was a great vacation. It was a great break. Great break and great to just like kick back and relax and spend time with family. So I had a great vacation at Vegas, so I hope y'all are having a wonderful holidays. Merry Christmas, by the way. I hope y'all having a wonderful Christmas. And now I'm back with my best ABB team for Ultra League Edition. So I was still studying, doing a little bit of meta things while I was on vacation. But before we get started, this is my therapist mental health tip of the day. If you usually could skip this by going ahead of the chapters. And this is about ways to change a habit. So I love Psych Central articles. Look at this in the description because these articles are reviewed by mental health professionals or specialists in their fields. And the reason I like this one, it's ways to change a habit. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions. It's almost 2023. However, a lot of them, the reason why they never stay consistent with it is because they can't break those habits. So they're like, yay, New Year's resolutions. But here is the professional way, or the mental health professional way to do it. So there's several things on here. Make a list, identify the cause, remove the cause, replace the habit, make simple stages, allow slip-ups, etc. And the best one I like is to not give up. Habits are hard to break. Habits aren't formed overnight, so they won't change overnight. It takes time and patience for new behaviors to become routine. So it could take several weeks before you change habits, because that's just how hard it is to change behavior. If you're not used to modifying or adapting or changing behaviors, it's going to take a while before you actually do it, or a little bit of time, unless you have a come to Arceus moment and you're like, oh my god, wow, I could do that instead. So yes, it's going to take a little bit of trial and error. Be kind to yourself. Take a look at this list. But yes, these are ways to change a habit and a very great way to do it, and I've actually done some of these myself. So yes, take a look at that. That is my therapist mental health today, and this is going to be my best ABB team for Ultra League Holiday Cup Edition. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. We got Obstagoon onto Electivire. So this is actually kind of scary because Electivire is one of the strongest. It hits really freaking hard, okay? It hurts a lot. If you get hit by a wild charge, especially a shadow wild charge, most things, even if it's not super effective, will die at very high ranges. So I'm going to hope my opponent just starts using their shields, or I get the boost. In this case, I get the freaking boost. I was like, wait, what? This is literally the first time in like 69 plus matches, yes, I'm doing that on purpose, that I've gotten the boost for the first time. So with that being said, my opponent will be prompted to shield literally everything if they want to keep their Electivire alive. In my opinion, my opponent should let them go. Even though shinies do more damage here, you're going against a boosted Obstagoon, and because Electivire isn't very bulky, as you see here, these boosted counters are chunking a lot. So shiny 8-bit DK Gorilla isn't exactly doing anything right now. And now you're going to proceed to see Obstagoon sweep the unholy crap out of my opponent because there's nothing they can practically do. That's also a shiny Charizard. Now that I think about it, is this person just straight up shiny flexing on me? So I'm perfectly alright with boosting on you. Because as you see right here, Charizard's gonna, at most, is gonna be able to get to a Dragon Claw, but it's not gonna be able to kill. So at this point, my opponent pretty much has just given up because Boostagoon's just gonna just sweep their entire team. Night Slash goes through, KOs though a poor boy Charizard, and that's not a shiny Abomasnow. So you put all this effort into two shinies, but your third mon isn't shiny. Anyways, that's game. But yeah, that was disgusting. Boostagoon, yes, boosting his life. As you see, we got Giratina on an Obstagoon for the second match, and this is terrible. You should always use Dragon Breath for Giratina for this very reason. If you see an Obstagoon, it sucks a lot. Dragon Breath will do neutral damage against pretty much a lot of things except the fairies, the charmers in this meta, and that's why it's just way more worth it to just not have Giratina with Shadow Claw. It puts you behind way too much against an Obstagoon if you do happen to see one. Whereas with Dragon Breath, you can kind of just fast move down in certain scenarios, or if they're hurt enough, like I mentioned, you could just Dragon Breath them down to death. We got Charizard with Obstagoon. I'm not swapping out here because I don't want to mirror my own Charizard into theirs, and I don't want to send in Staraptor because Staraptor is going to take forever to get to a move, or rather, close combat's resisted. So as you see, I'm just going to stay with Obstagoon straight up Night Slash. My timing's a little bit terrible, but, you know, I'm going to fire anyways. And we're just going to blast through these our opponent's shields. I'm hoping one of two things happen. One, our opponent gives up Charizard, or two, they just give up Charizard, or they just break both of their shields. The second option where they break both their shield is more preferred, as the Blast Bird will outright kill an Obstagoon. It hurts a lot, but is an outright kill. I'm going to fire this Night Slash, and I'm hoping this gets the second shield, because what's going to happen here is I might be able to make it to where we get a simultaneous KO. So as you see here, I'm correct. I guessed correctly where I'm like, all right, I can force a simultaneous KO. And then I can, because even if I did, I can send in Charizard to sponge damage. But at this point, it's pretty much game over. I have Staraptor set up for the closing scenario with 2 shields. And that's in his Sween Avalok. And I'm like, what the heck am I'm like, what am I looking at right now? That's not, I mean, Aurorus is just as good, is just as scary, even if it was an Aurorus. But as you see, I'm just going to yeet you from the face of the Pokemon world, and I'm going to send in Charizard and going to Dragon Claw this Giratina to death. I'm just sending my Charizard out to clear the debuff. This is pretty much game over. I'm going to straight Dragon Claw my opponent to death, even if they have Ancient Power. All I'm going to do here is get Dragon Claw, do some chip damage, and then the subsequent Brave Bird with my shield will be able to take out this Giratina. And then it's game. So, you know, a funny part was, if you don't know, a long time ago, Ancient Power was actually not, like, debuffed. They actually nerfed Ancient Power, because Ancient Power was so good on Giratina that you could actually beat Togekiss's straight Ancient Power. But nowadays, now it's nerfed, which is actually good, because if it was given its original attack value back now, I don't think I would have lived this. I wouldn't have lived this Ancient Power right here. So it's kind of good. And they actually happen to boost. And I'm like, oh god. So does a boosted Ancient Power Giratina live a whole Brave Bird from Staraptor? So we're going to send the Hurricane 69420 right in front of this Giratina's face. And no, it does not live. I was like, when I saw that thing boost, I was like, oh crap. Does this thing live? And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Okay, so that's good. Little bit of karma from my last one. We got Togekiss on Obstagoon. This is absolutely terrible for you. So your safe switch is going to be Charizard. Charizard for your safe switch will be in this team. And as you see, I'm going to go over because I'm expecting my opponent to try to catch a Blast Burn, and they do, into a Giratina. However, this isn't exactly great for our opponent, because with Charizard having a ton of energy, and yes, that's a shiny Giratina, by the way, so I'm impressed. And they have the right moveset, by the way, so I'm like, oh crap, okay, this kind of sucks. So we're going to fire these Dragon Claws, and because Wing Attack got boosted for this season, you see that damage is actually starting to add up a bit. I'm going to be able to finish my opponent off with 1 Dragon Claw, and at this point I'm going to start using my shields because Ancient Power is very slow. Even if they don't have Ancient Power and they're using Dragon Claws, it doesn't really matter at this point, because I'm hoping that they just let go of their Giratina. Go 1 Wing Attack over. You always want to get as much energy as you possibly can. But I don't want my Charizard to get too low, so as you see, they're going to start shielding, so I'm like, I'm perfectly fine with this. Should be able to get to the next Dragon Claw before they get to another move, and I do. This should force my opponent's second shield, and they're going to try to Dragon Breath me down. So as you see here, unless they just let go of Giratina, which they do, and they send in Togekiss to farm me down. So now I'm in kind of a little bit of trouble. Actually, I'm in a lot of trouble right now. My only win condition here is to smack the crap bait, is to bait the crap out of this Togekiss, and then Brave Bird it. So you can go ahead and go to, with Staraptor, you can get to 100 energy. And then you can go ahead and fire a close combat followed by a Brave Bird. But it has to be perfect. So as you see here, my opponent sends in Obstagoon. I'm going to send in my own Obstagoon. This looks suicidal, but the thing about this is that I might be able to actually, if they don't shield, because this is a 69,000 IQ play. My opponent is not going to shield this Croc Chop because they're going to save that shield for Togekiss. That's my prediction here. So as you see here, the Croc Chop goes through, and I'm right. My opponent is going to save their shield for their Togekiss. That's usually what Togekiss 2 shield strats do. So I go 1 over, I fire my close combat, and then after this, I should be able to fire Brave Bird if they shield. So my opponent has to call the bait. And as you see, they don't call the bait. I fire the Brave Bird, and that's game. So despite having one of the worst leads in the game, there are instances where you can predict where your opponent will likely do. Even if my opponent didn't shield there, they would basically just get wiped out by my Staraptor being down shields, because I could close combat and then Brave Bird down for the W. So either way, my opponent was pretty much screwed. They picked the right win condition by keeping their shield, but it still sucks. Now we got Articuno versus Obstagoon. This is actually terrible for the Obstagoon player, as in me, because the thing is, Obstagoon is going to get debuffed. And my counters are only doing neutral damage because Ice is weak to fighting, but Fighting resists fighting. So we're going to try and go... this is gonna suck. I'm just gonna get debuffed to death. Here we go. Icy Winds on Icy Winds. And by the way, that thing kind of beats my entire back row. Yeah, Charizard is super effective with Blast Burn. But the thing about it is that Articuno's debuffs are actually pretty terrible. Because Icy Wind -1. This team really banks on... And I forgot this thing had Ancient Power, by the way. So that's a double whammy right there. I didn't shield it and I was like, oh crap. So I'm already behind. Not only did I lose the lead, but also they also called by Blast Bird. I'm like, oh, this is... I'm going to have to do a lot to come back from this matchup. But this is why Staraptor is such a powerful closer. Staraptor is a beast, and it absolutely just blasts everything to death in the back row. So all we're going to do is we're going to Night Slash here, and I'm going to try to take out this Articuno, or break both of their shields, and I boosted them like... Oh, I boosted. And I was like, oh, yo, I'm not going to shield Obstagoon anyways, though. And as you see, they send in a Snorlax. And I'm like, why would you send in a whole Snorlax onto a boosted Obstagoon? Because one, I triple resist Lick. And my Cross Chops are going to hurt a lot. So my opponent had made the mistake of trying to save too many shields for their Articuno. I'm going to shield this, though. And then I'm going to go ahead and take out this Snorlax with my Cross Chops and just save one of my shields for Staraptor in the back. The reason I'm doing this is because Staraptor, even though it resists counter, even though it resists these licks as well, being a normal type, Wing Attack isn't going to be able to farm down a whole Snorlax, okay? Snorlax got a big booty. He's very round body, very round booty. And as you see, we get a Lapras, so I'm going to do more chip damage with Cross Chop, and I'm set up for Staraptor to sweep our opponent. I essentially just have to get to 2 close combats and it's game over for our opponent. So as you see here, I'm going to go ahead and just overcharge to Oblivion. They're gonna fire a Surf Art Ice Beam. I'm banking this is an Ice Beam, so I'm going to shield. However, my opponent is going to successfully jabait me. Sadly. So I got jabaited by my opponent. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'm gonna go ahead and overcharge a little bit here, and then I'm gonna fire close combat. So as you see, the reason why I'm doing this is because my opponent isn't gonna be able to get to another Surf. And just getting as much energy as humanely possible. I'm not counting by chance. I'm just really freaking good at this game. And then I'm going to be able to go ahead and get to 2 close combats and absolutely just wipe out my opponent with my Staraptor. This is the basis of this team strategy. You'll wipe out your opponent's shields, and then you go one punch man or 2 punch man, or more like 2 punch Staraptor onto your opponent and just absolutely wipe them from the face of the earth. It's very much like the Frostless 2 shield strat, except it's in the back row. Now, last but not least, we got Ampharos versus Obstagoon. So, fun fact, Ampharos actually wins this lead, especially with the fact that Volt Switches go through moves now, like no tomorrow, and you can't deny your opponent's moves anymore. You're gonna lose straight. You lose straight Thunder Punch, especially if they happen to Focus Blast you and you don't call the Focus Blast. The Onda Ceraterra, the Spirit Bomb, will wipe out your... I forgot how much damage it does, but it does like double Obstagoon's HP if an Ampharos is able to land a Focus Blast. I don't like a giant hurling meteor going up my butt, so yes, I'm going to shield. And this time, I'm able to call it. I'm going to shield the second one. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get Focus Blasted, and they happen to Thunder Punch. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and let Obstagoon go. I'm hoping they let Ampharos go, because here's the thing. I don't want my back row to go against this Ampharos. So this is going to really suck if they let Ampharos live. I'm not going to shield this. I will live this Thunder Punch. And then I'm going to fire Night Slash. If I get their second shield, I'm going to send in Charizard. The reason why is I'm going to send in Charizard to go ahead and do as much damage as possible to set up Staraptor in the back. Unless they let go of their Ampharos, which, as you see, I was like, yes, they let it go, thank you. And then they send in Obstagoon. Now I have a Giratina on my Charizard, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really bad. But that's actually not that bad, because now my opponent is set up to die. The reason why I like Close Combat Staraptor is because it will one-shot to Obstagoons. That's one thing. And number two, it does really well against opponents that like using Shadow Claw Giratinas. So like Snorlax's, Shadow Claw Giratinas, Staraptor will still double resist. And as you see, my opponent is letting their Giratina go, which is even better for me. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, you're letting your Giratina? I got really happy. Because now, well, they don't have Ancient Power, which is kind of sad. I'm like, why didn't you Ancient Power? Because now they're probably going to fire the Ancient Power. If they don't, it's going to suck for them, because they're going to constantly try to debate me with Dragon Claw. So I still have win conditions here. The idea of this is, even if they had Ancient Power, I still have a sack for Obstagoon, and I still would have a ton of energy, or be able to get a ton of energy for my Staraptor. Now, as you see, my opponent will finally shield. I send in Staraptor, I farm down my opponent's Giratina, and then this is game. Or they top left before they know their freaking Obstagoon and back is going to get smacked by my Staraptor, and that's game. So rather than delay the inevitable, they just top left, and I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope y'all are excited that I'm back. Some of you aren't, so you have unsubscribed to my channel. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm really excited to be back. Really looking forward to 2023. I think I set my goal at 2023 at 6K subs, but we'll see where, well, 6K or 7K, we'll see from there. But let's just hope there's some changes to Go Battle League or to PvP. I know asking for another year is too much because it's Niantic, but hopefully we'll see a PvP overhaul or something of that sort. Because at this point, the only way that's going to save PvP long-term to being a competitive game, if they decide to do anything with it, which 90% they're probably not because it's Niantic, is going to be to overhaul the system and make it something completely new. That's the only way. It's been shown that this system isn't going to appeal to a large audience, so we need to change something, or they need to change something. Or they're likely going to do what I've always predicted, and in 2023, Niantic, or even further than that, is just going to promote raids and as much money-grabbing incentives as possible, so they make as much money as they can out of our pockets before they ride off to the sunset, or Pokemon Go 2 comes out. So yeah. But whether it is, whatever is going on, I hope y'all are looking forward to 2023. I wish all of you a Merry Christmas. That's already passed, but I hope you had a great Christmas. And I hope y'all have a wonderful New Year with you and your families. Or if you don't have your New Year with you and your families, you yourself as an individual have a wonderful 2023 or a start to 2023. Without further ado, this is the last time I'll say this for this year. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all in 2023 for my next video.